Grab a cold one, heat up those wings, and get ready to fire up your engines. It's Fanside on RaceCanada.World. With your hosts, Cam K and Graydon Bunn.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are back for 2021, our very first guest. We're really excited about this because a reigning NASCAR champion is on our show, the very first episode of 2021. NASCAR Whelen modified two-time champion is on the show. Justin Bonsignore, welcome to Fanside.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun to get up and talk racing, and especially in the middle of the winter, and to do it with some Canadians where they're not used to seeing the tour mods. We enjoy it.
Well, let's start on that. The modifieds are a different show, and I think you guys. Now, I will be very honest. I did not see a lot of modified stuff growing up, but there was a channel or a live stream product called Fans Choice that came to Canada a couple years ago. And I can't tell you how many races I watched and became hooked immediately. Not only that, is after doing a bit of research, it seems like you guys have been around for quite a lot of time. You have a lot of veterans that just are there year after year after year. What is it about the modified tour that just brings out such great racing?
There's so many different things, and a big part of it is the having the veterans in our series. It's crazy to think I've become one of those guys now. I've been there 10 plus years. Guys like Doug Kobe, been there for 15 plus years, and there's plenty others. So we have a good mix of veteran drivers. We got a good mix of guys that have been there for a few years, getting their feet under them, and then we got a good batch of young kids coming in that are hungry. And every single one of us are aggressive. We got those Nerf bars on the cars. We like to use them. We race on little bullring racetracks. We put on a lot of good shows. We race at super speedways like New Hampshire, which is super speedway for us, where we're drafting and slingshot. And it's just, there's no track that we go to that we don't put on a good show. It might not always be the best show. Some guys might stink it up every now and then, but on the whole, modified racing is just the type of cars, the look, the feel, the speeds, the tires, hanging out. It has everything there to produce good racing, and 9 times out of 10 it does, and it's a lot of fun for the fans.
Yeah, it sort of has commonalities to our NASCAR Pinty series in that, like you say, you're not afraid to use the Nerf bars, and our series is kind of known for its rough and tumble sort of nature too. But as Cam said, we don't see a lot of the modifieds, at least in terms of the NASCAR Whelen ones anyways. And I haven't been to a race. From a technical standpoint, but not too technical, can you talk about the car itself a little bit?
Yeah, so it's obviously custom built, open wheel modified. We got 15-inch Hoosiers, real soft tires, create a lot of grip. The motors are actually pretty similar, or if not the same motor that is used in the Pinty series. I know they have some different options now, but the
small block,
it's a NASCAR spec engine, which is actually it's a Chevy LS2 motor.
Nice.
It creates about 640 horse with an 830 carburetor. Lot of torque, a lot of they just get up and go. They handle like go-karts. A lot of people always want to say, with those big tires, big soft tires, you could put that car anywhere you want to go. And at the same time, they're durable. We can beat and bang off each other. The Nerf bars are pretty strong. Even with the tires out there, you can bang wheels if needed and still keep going. And it's just it's its own little thing, modified racing. It really is. It's got a niche up here in the Northeast, the New England area, but it's big in the North Carolina region as well. So they're unbelievable race cars. There's nothing else like them in the country, I don't think, and they're a lot of fun to drive. I'll tell you that.
What would they weigh approximately?
Yeah, that's a good question. 2650 with the driver in our series. So
so you got some pretty good power to weight, right?
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's we actually up in Canada, we have our Oscar modifieds, and actually one of the drivers in the series had to ask Wally Wilson asked this on Facebook. It was, when are you going to come up and run an Oscar modified for us? We've got a seat for you.
Well, I mean, that sounds like an invite. So I don't know what all this COVID stuff, if we can get across the border.
Not yet, but
I would definitely love to come across and try some stuff. Anthony from Pinty's, who kind of put this all together. I've always been asking him to try and get a Pinty series ride. I would love to try that.
Oh yes,
yeah.
I would love to. We talked about it a couple years ago for the New Hampshire, first time at New Hampshire. Just a lot of things have to come together to do that. I honestly want to come to Canada. I want to do it on one of your little short tracks. Or
man,
I want to do it on a road course. I haven't raced a road course in a long time, since I was a kid, but I would love to try it.
I mean, Wally, there's your answer.
Yeah.
So
totally.
That's fascinating to hear, because there was a clip that went out there at Fax NASCAR, put a clip out on Twitter, and it blew my mind that you guys actually used to run road courses at Lime Rock Park, if I'm not mistaken, was one of them. Is that something that you wish would come back to the modified tour? Or are you okay with the super speedways and the short ovals?
Yeah, obviously I personally would love to do it. I grew up racing go-karts on road courses. My first 2 years on the tour, we went to Lime Rock. It's not the most technical racetrack, but it was a lot of fun. They used to race at the Glen back in the 90s and early 2000s. The issue with it is the expense of the switching the cars over. We don't have a huge fleet of cars. A lot of guys, most guys are at max 2 cars, sometimes 3. So the expenses of having to switch the cars over and do that, it just kind of didn't pay off for only having one race, and to try and get maybe 2 or 3 of them is tough for our series. I would love to. I had a great time doing it. Road course racing is a great discipline. It takes a lot of different skills and a lot of different things you got to be good at. So I would like to see it happen, but I just don't see it being a thing in our series anytime soon.
You took the questions like right out of my mouth, basically. I mean, the inherent expense of having either a dedicated road course car or just switching everything over in itself has to be a job. So I guess, as I said, that took one of the questions right out of there.
The money part is always tough, and has to make sense for the owners. And we're fortunate as a well-funded team, but obviously it's a mom and pop series, so there's a lot of teams that just wouldn't come or would really struggle. So I see both sides of it, but as a racer and racer only, I would love to do it. I think it's a great discipline
for sure. And as you said, it's still relatively a mom and pop series. I mean, you still, there's a hierarchy in every racing series of in terms of budgets and that sort of thing. But I mean, talk about that. Like the modifieds are deep rooted in NASCAR racing and everything. I mean, what a series to be a part of. I mean, as I said, we don't get to watch it, and it wasn't ever televised to speak of up here. But as a NASCAR fan, I mean, it's not lost on me that this is a pretty special and historic series to NASCAR.
Yes, without a doubt. Obviously, it's NASCAR's first series division, and it's been around since the late 40s, and to look at your name on that championship trophy, it has, I don't know if it's 48 or 49, whatever the first year was, and I think it's Red Byron is the first name on there, and then it has every champion since that day, Bobby Allison, all these guys that went on to be National Series champions, and then you have the greats of our series, Mike Stefanik, Teddy Christopher, hate to say it, Doug Kobe, you have all these guys,
Richie,
Richie's on there, Jimmy Spencer, just so many people. So it really is that's the most special part of it. And when you can, it's right in our living room. So when we're sitting there watching TV, you just look over and you're like, wow, we won that, now we have 2 of them, and it's just really special. And it's humbling to sit back and realize what you've accomplished.
That's the best place to put a championship trophy. I'd put it there too. I'd have it in my living room. I'd look at that thing all the friggin' time.
It sits right next to the TV.
I just be taking it with me everywhere. Let everybody else.
Like that old Jimmy Johnson commercial where he's talking to Elliott Sadler. Just, I'm going to need it again. Yeah, it's awesome to have that in the living room, man. Super cool.
You mentioned talking about Doug Coby. Well, if there was one person that it seems like you can't get away from in the series, it's got to be Doug Coby. You're going to be able to get up there and get those championships away and kind of even the score.
Well, I mean, we got a long way to go. Doug and I are as tough as we race each other on the track. We're actually pretty good friends off the track.
Nice.
Me and Priest have a little group chat. We like to go rip on each other every day in, and he's getting up there in age. I got a few. Hopefully, I can stay longer. He's going to retire hopefully before I do. But at the same time, there's 25 other guys that are trying to do the same thing. So, I'm happy with 2, but obviously the next goal is to get to 3 and keep winning races. We are, Doug and I are tied in career wins, so we kind of joke each other about that. But he still has the upper hand on me, and we got a long way to go. But I'm only about 33 years old, so I feel like I got a lot of good years left in me. But
hell yeah,
you got to keep your team together. You got to keep there's so many things sponsor own, or you got to keep a whole package together. He had that for a long time, and we have that right now. But like I said, there's at least 5 or 6 other guys that could win the championship in it every year, and we're just gonna have to go out and do our job and not have any mistakes. That's what cost us in 19. That's why we lost the championship. We could be sitting here with 3 in a row, and he could have 5. So a lot of what ifs in racing. So we don't worry about that. We're just worried about 2021 at this point.
Well, it's cool. You're a tight knit group. I mean, that you mentioned Ryan Priest too. I mean, he's moved on obviously to Cup and everything, and the modifieds have to be somewhat like the trucks too. There's your journeyman drivers or the people that aspire to maybe move it to Cup, or do you have kind of a career path? Are the modifieds your wheelhouse, Justin?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, when I was in my early 20s getting started, I had, big aspirations, hopefully just move right on and go on to the national levels. But it's not a hidden fact that it takes a lot of money and partners to get to that next level. And I wasn't never willing to even ask my current owners or sponsors for an astronomical amount of money to go to that next level. I always love doing the modified series. The money that we can spend here, and as I say, my team and my owners can spend here, that would even be a race or 2 at the next level. Like our yearly budget is like 1 truck race. So to risk it all on that, it's just not worth it. And at my age now, I'm a modified guy for the rest of my career. I've said this, and I've actually heard it from other legends, Mike Stefanik, Teddy Christopher. There's nothing wrong with being a modified lifer, and if that's what I'm going to be, I want to be the best at it, and I'm just going to keep plugging away.
That's awesome. Nothing wrong with it.
It's what keeps these series alive, though, right? Is if you constantly have people leaving. When we kind of seen it, I think we can kind of say that we've seen it in the ARCA Menards East and West. Is that constantly they're losing guys, moving up, teams moving up, and then there's nobody left to keep it going. So you mentioned some of those legendary names, and I have to say, the modified tour, you guys had a really rough stretch, unfortunately. 2017, you lost Teddy, you lost Mike in 2019, and then long time driver Wade Cole this year, or last year, I guess, 2020. You guys are obviously a huge family. Can you speak to each one of those members of the modified tour family?
Yeah, that it's the best word. We are a family. As much as we all race each other's guts out and want to beat each other and do what we have to do, off the track, for the most part, everybody gets along really well. We all, while we're waiting to go out onto the track for introductions, we're all in the back, hanging out, BS, and just talking about, each other's outside of racing life. Because, none of us do this for a living. This is basically a hobby at our level. So, just seeing what each person did during the week, how their wives are doing, et cetera, et cetera. So, all 3 of those I was, had different relationships with. Teddy Christopher, I was very close with in the last couple of years. As my career started to develop, I actually rented a TQ midget from him to get my feet wet. Ran the Atlantic City weekend, and from then we became even better friends. And there was TC, and then there was Ted. There was two people. He was a special individual. Missed him dearly. That was just the way that all took place that day was awful. We were all there. We were parked next to his trailer at that time, and it's just hard to focus. Very, very big hit for our community. And then Michael, same way. He was a guy that, if you did something wrong or you did something right, he would come up and tell you. He would cheer you out in the nicest way possible, but he would also compliment you when you did something well. And to this day, his wife still texts me every time I win a race. So to have that type of respect and friendship is special. And obviously he had already retired, and it was a little different. It was a little different feel, but still, when I think we were actually at a race again that day, and when stuff like that happens, it's just crazy. And even Wade, that was very shocking news. Wade was just the nicest guy. He was not a guy that was going to go out and win races. Everybody knew that. He knew that, but he always had a smile on his face. He was just happy to be there, happy to be a part of the show, happy to be in the show. He was the same type of guy. Always come up to you, and even if his car was wrecked, just congratulate you or wish you luck, or just an all-around great guy. And that was a tough hit for our series. We lost a guy that had been there since the very beginning, and it's anytime that happens, it's extremely tough. But the series as a whole has great people, and we did some great memorial races and
Yes.
in their honor over those last couple of years, and we've been fortunate enough to win a few of them. So they've tried, I feel, as a whole, the whole whether it's modifieds in general, any track, weekly, tourings have done a good job of trying to honor them the best way we can. And it's still really tough though.
Yeah, I remember seeing that because like I said, that 33, I always used to see it. He'd always motor around the inside. He'd always stick to the inside. Let you guys go around him. But I heard, I had read articles and heard that he was driving his car on his own little trailer to the track every week. He'd work on it on his own.
He had a ramp truck.
Yeah.
Open ramp truck.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
what it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
And a great picture of him at Bristol. He's sitting in the infield in a lawn chair waiting on the truck race to end, and the car's up on the ramp. It's like an iconic photo. So he was something else. And he wasn't broke by any means. He did well. He just chose to always have that ramp truck, and that God bless him to drive that thing everywhere and make sure not have any issues. And he was a great guy.
Yeah, so three definite legends of the series. But when you came in, who was it that you immediately looked to? Was it those guys, or was there somebody else that maybe isn't racing currently that helped Justin Bonsignore in the beginning of your career?
That's a good question. Mike and Teddy definitely, after you kind of showed that you can hold your own and not be a menace or wrecking people, they because I knew them before I got into the tour. So there was a little bit of a relationship there. They would always have, good advice. I kind of kept to myself a lot. Priest actually was a good person to bounce off of when I was getting started. He would kind of always compare things when he was getting started and, try and keep you from getting discouraged when things are rough. But, a lot of that, and you kind of look to your own team for advice and try and, stay in-house. But because I got a lot of good veteran crew members. So it's a little bit of everybody. You kind of just go to anybody that's willing to talk to you, give you advice.
So 2020 obviously was a bit of a curveball, but you managed to come out on top. You talked a bit about your 2018 championship, which looked to be a pretty great season for you. Can you talk a little bit about both of them, maybe in comparison, because they got to be pretty different? This year had to be something kind of way out of the norm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like we talked about with the kids, 2018 was a great way to get over the hump, and we did it in a fashion. We won the most races anybody's ever won. Percentage-wise, we won 50% of the races, won a ton of poles, led so many laps. We had an unbelievable season and capped it off with the championship, clinched it a race early. Excuse me. It was just overall just amazing. And to finally get to that level, it felt great. And then, came out in 2019 and missed the mark a little, kind of, kicked ourselves in the foot the first two races. Crew chief got a little aggressive at the opener with pitch strategy. Driver got a little stupid at the second race. And before you know it, we were, dug ourselves a big hole and just about got us out of it. Just turned it on a little too late, and missed it. So that, we went from a high to like, man, this is pretty good, but like we got to that level. We need to get back to that level again. And, before any of the pandemic or anything hit, we studied what happened in 2019 and how we needed to be better as a team from top to bottom. And, obviously then, everything goes on hold. You're just sitting around waiting, sitting on your couch, doing nothing, drinking beer, eating food, waiting on what is going to happen in the world. And at the same time, just making sure we stayed focused on what we talked about and came out of the gate and won the pole, led every lap, won the first race, go to the second race, little controversy, win the second race. And then it's like, all right, we got this thing going. And from there, it's like, all right, let's just be smart. Win when you can. But if you can't, run top three, because we have a car that can run in the top three or the top five at the worst every week. That's how good of a car my crew chief brings. And I just need to do a good job of making sure I don't put us in a bad spot. Like I said, if you can't win, you got to take the next best finish.
And you put together a 33% winning percentage in this championship season, so that's not so bad either.
And people say, "Oh, my win percentage has gone down in the last 3 years." I mean,
Yeah,
so,
I mean, from 50 to 33, yeah, but I mean, geez, come on.
But no, you know what? I know it was a shortened year, but we ran 9 races. I feel everybody else had the same opportunity to go out and win the championship.
Right.
And what we were dealt. Historically, you look back, the guy leading after 8 or 9 races probably was going to win it anyways, unless they had a huge failure. So I feel, I don't feel that this championship wasn't earned or deserved in any means. That trophy, when I can get it into my house, will look just as good as the other one. I feel my team has earned it. But it felt good to get back and redeem ourselves after kind of messing it up in 2019. I feel like it was kind of on us. We took it away from ourselves. We kind of we didn't do a good job. And now moving forward, we know what we need to do every week to try and keep winning these championships.
That shows the mettle of the team. I mean, you go back and analyze what was off about that year, and then go back, correct it, and then go to work and then show that you overcome and then kick ass.
We try not to make the same mistakes twice.
That's awesome.
Me on the track, the pit crew, we just try and learn from everything. And, it's the biggest thing is my team. Everybody pulls in the same direction. Everybody's fully committed to the same goal. And it's great when you can go out and actually accomplish that goal. It's cool to celebrate with your team.
We have another question from Monty F. And his question is, and this is a loaded one. This is a hypothetical, Dustin. So,
yes,
so I like this question, actually. This is very good. This is, if Justin Bonsignore was in charge, okay, so you're in charge, how would you go about creating a more widespread NASCAR National Modified Series in both the United States and Canada?
Oh, I think I saw this one on Twitter.
Yes, you did.
I probably should have studied a little more on this one. But
you will be quizzed on this later.
Yeah, that is a good question because, I feel our series could be the next national series. But there's a lot to it. Like I said, the teams are mom and pops. You take it to that next level where you're traveling nationally, that just increases the finance side of it. That increases the need for sponsorship. That increases the need for the tracks to put up purses that are in the minimum $30,000 to win with a couple thousand to start, so you can afford to travel across the country. It's very tough. I would say the biggest thing would be the finance side, just piecing it all together. But in your perfect world, yeah, I just say, hey, NASCAR or whatever, hey, Justin Bonsignore Modified Series, we're going to pay you $50,000 to win and $8,000 to start, and we're going to, somewhere in California, or we're coming to Trace. What is it? How you say it? Trace Rivers.
Trois Rivières.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like,
wouldn't that be a badass mod?
Oh man, we got the Dumoulin brothers in a modified at Trois Rivières with you guys.
Those guys are something else. I've hung out with them at the banquet. They are funny guys.
Nice.
Yeah, good people.
But I really think we have everything there is great. I wouldn't really change much of anything besides the financial side of things to expand. I think that's the biggest thing. You would need a bigger sponsor, series sponsor, more associate series sponsors, bigger team sponsors. We need national corporations. There's no Doug's sponsor, Mayhew Tools, is probably the biggest, I'd say, like consumer product type sponsor in our series. So to take that to the next level would be, a lot. But if you would also need national TV, live national TV races. There's a lot to it, but and it would have to be, your crew guys, your drivers, your owners would be doing it full time. This is tough. I do this on the side. I have a great job where I can come and go as I please. A lot of the people do in our series, but it would become full-time employment. You would need more employees to travel the country, to prepare the cars. We have my crew chief's the only full-time employee. Everybody else is volunteer. So, there is actually way more to it than I even thought at the beginning of the question. So I think money would be the root of all evil.
Well, Monty actually follows it up with another one because he gave you two questions. So his question was more about our series in the NASCAR modified series. Do you think that it would be a great idea, maybe a cool incentive, that their champion gets an opportunity to run a Whelen modified tour race at some point?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. It's actually not my idea. Doug Kobe has that idea for our series moving towards a national series. I think any type of feeder system that can feed based off of success and accomplishments is how it should be. So, if your guys' series champion could to know we have a guaranteed ride the next year as the reigning champion in the modified series, I think that would be great. I think it should work the same way in the modified series or the Pinty series or the ARCA, or the truck series should be guaranteed into the Xfinity series. It doesn't unfortunately work that way due to, again, financials.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a tough sport to be in, but in a perfect world, I think that's how it should be. And Doug, in case he watches, I want him to, make sure he gets the credit for that. That was his idea, but it's probably very far-fetched. I'd like to tell him that. But it's how it should be. It's how it was in years past. I mean, there's always been people that got there on talent, but at the same time, there's a lot of guys that get to that level with money.
Well, and we see it, the road to Indy has been very successful in bringing people up, at least in they're able to come up for a couple of races. So, for all we know that there is an option, but we've never talked about maybe a Whelen modified tour race in Canada. Is that something that, because you guys are more northeast, right? Most of your races. So, I mean, you just float right on up to Jacasa Speedway or, that's the one I'm thinking of right away.
Yeah, that immediately sprung to my mind.
That was a rumor a couple years ago when Jacasa opened that they were trying, but I mean, there's a lot to it to get us all across the border. We did race. Yeah. We raced the Delaware. In 2011, I believe that was kind of a deal brokered by our sponsor, Whelen Engineering. I think they did some business in that area, and it just kind of worked out. It was unfortunate; it was only a one-time thing. It was a fun track. I actually only showed up for the race. I was racing somewhere else the day before and started last, and I think we finished top, I don't know, fifth or sixth. I loved the track; it was fun, but it was a little bit of a tough travel for us to get all the way out there, but. I really wish we could get across and do some races up there. I mean, again, it just probably boils down to the tracks. Yeah. Be able to, take on the purse that is our series. and make it worth their while. But Jukasa, I mean, that looks like a beautiful place. I know the ROC Modifieds raced up there, and I don't know if they still do, but it looks great. I wish we would get there. That is a top-notch facility.
Tony Spiteri of Pinty's, listen up. We got an all-star idea.
Come on, Tony.
Modified tour invitational at Jukasa Speedway. Come on, it sounds great.
That would be great.
Justin, we want to thank you for coming on Fanside. To have a two-time champion, a reigning champion, it's such an honor. And Graydon, you and I, we talk all the time about we want to thank sponsors for what they do for racing. And so we're going to give you the opportunity to thank your sponsors because they're the ones that help bring you to the racetrack. Yeah,
of course. We can't do without any of them. First, obviously, my car owners, Ken and Janine Massa, like we've talked about, we've been with them for a long time, and their company, M3 Technologies, and, they've always been in my corner. And then, Phoenix Communications, Mark and Marie Langevin have been with us now. I think this is going to be our fifth or sixth season together, full-time together, and they've been in our corner, whether it's been good or bad, and have always stuck with us and appreciate everything they do for us. ClearCom IT Solutions, another great family that's been a part of our team now. And, Robert Yates Racing Engines, Fury Race Cars, all of our great product sponsors that help us with the best of the best parts each and every week. And then, obviously my team, we can't do it without my crew chief, Ryan, and every single crew guy on the team that he has in his corner and in our corner. And it really is a team effort from the owner to the sponsor to the team. So we can't do it without any of them. And we really appreciate all of them. And we look forward to getting back on track here. It's a few more months, but we're ready to go already. It's been a long off season.
You're like us. You guys get the winter too, right? I mean,
yeah.
the off season's long and it's white. And on behalf of my kids too, Justin, thanks a lot. They had a great time. When they bust out a picture for a new guest, when my kids draw a picture, that's something special. But thanks again, man. This has been great.
That was awesome. I appreciate you guys having me on. I want to thank Tony from Pinty's for putting this together for us. And hopefully we just get some more exposure on the modified series. If NBC Track Pass will have all of our races starting again this year. I think it's a pretty cheap price. I think it's like $20 for 14 races. So $1 in change a race or whatever converts to Canadian. I don't know, but it's great coverage. It's better than Fans Choice. They kind of improved it. And any more eyes on our series is great. And hopefully we can get me in a Pinty's car one day.
I will say my family and I like to road trip, and whatever happens in terms of the border openings, if you come here or we go to your neck of the woods, we'll see a mod race or we'll see you in a Pinty's car or both one of these days, man.
Yeah, we race up near the border, Oswego and New York International, Lancaster. So I don't know, that's kind of in the Buffalo area, but I'm not sure where you guys are. But
we'll rip the old Hemi down that way and see what we'll see what happens when this border stuff gets opened up. And I'd love to check out a mod race in person for sure.
For sure. Stay in touch if you do. We'd love to meet you guys.
Oh,
back absolutely. At you, man. Yeah, we'll pick Cam up on the way.
You're going to have to. I'm not hitting
absolutely. We're going right by, man.
All right, Justin, thank you so much. We wish you the best of luck this year. Go kick ass once again and get home that championship so that you can get up there and beat Doug for most championships in the series.
Got a little bit of work to do, but thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
All right.
Take care, man.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening, race fans. Time to enjoy some wings and some racing. We'll catch you next week on Race Canada Fanside. Don't forget, you can find Cam on social media at CamK Racing. Or Graydon on Twitter at Smooth Operator.